Welcome back to the Fundamentals podcast, where we talk all things related to sports from a fan's perspective. Thank you for all the listeners. If you're a first time listener, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Shout out to Bros Talk Podcast. They are a friend of the show. They have a good podcast, great conversation. So check them out. Man, what's up? Super Bowl. Let's off rip. Right off rip. Yeah. We're happy about that. Yeah,
beautiful.
I loved it.
It was a beautiful game.
People were like, I didn't like it. It was boring. No, I loved Kansas City getting stomped out.
I literally watched I told you. Yeah. If they are literally whooping Kansas City, I'm gonna watch Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were whooping Kansas City, and I watched the whole Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's domination. They dominated that game.
Yes, they did.
They had one first down the first half.
Yes.
Nobody would. It was like 23 net yards. They had the whole first half, bro.
Yeah. Hey, but listen.
I wish that's what San Fran would have did to them boys, man.
Man, this game was won in the trenches for that defensive line of Philadelphia, bro.
Yeah.
Like that pressure that they were able to put on Mahomes, the way they were able to get to him. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you can call me a hater, but all right, I'll be that for what I saw. I'm going to talk about it. What I saw was, I loved it. I loved every second of it. Like I was enjoying it. I had a smile on my face. You know,
yeah,
like
real, like it was
you know,
it was enjoyable.
And shout out to Jalen Hurts, right? Because although like throughout the season he's listened to, you know, my numbers aren't that high, and I've even said it, right? But one thing you could say is he was very composed in that game. He had control, and even after throwing that interception, I think that was the second quarter, he was still very calm. You know, the run game wasn't, you know, Saquon Barkley didn't get like a lot of breakoffs and everything. You know, he got a couple 8 yards here, 9 there on you know, those were some of the bigger runs for him. Yeah. But Jalen Hurts was calm, collected, and he was in his zone, and his zone is not to go out and go throw 400 yards. His zone is to take whatever the defense gives me. And he did a great job, and I have to give him credit for that. I've even been critical of the, you know, well, he doesn't go out and, you know, throw lights out, you know, but he was able to stay calm, stay collected, and literally just take whatever the defense gave him.
Yeah, but I will say, and the defense gave. I mean, I will be honest with you. Kansas City's defense played a pretty good game.
Overall,
if you watch their defense played a good game, stopping the run. They led a couple of big plays downfield. They did, but when you really watch that game, it wasn't like Philadelphia's offense was running shop all over that defense.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? What ended up happening when you're watching it is that since Philadelphia's defense played so great, Kansas City never could get any kind of yards to put Philly in a bad situation. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? True. So it's almost like playing with house money. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if we got good field position all the time, and I'm barely, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, y'all punting, and we getting the ball at the 40 versus us getting the ball at the 10 and the 10, the 5 and stuff like that. And I got to march the whole field. You know, hey, it's just kind of like one of those things that you exuberate even more confidence now. I ain't got to go far to score.
That's true.
And Philadelphia had played with a lot of confidence. Even when the running game wasn't going, they, like you said, Jalen Hurts, he was just in his bag. He made smart football plays.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. That was the whole thing that impressed me about Jalen Hurts in his game. It wasn't like he was blowing them away. He didn't wow you with a whole bunch. Now he did make some deep connections on some plays or whatever, but they kind of deke and dunked a little bit. His numbers didn't stand out on the page.
Yeah.
But it's the poise, like you say, how poised he was. He made smart decisions. And when it was time to run, he ran at a timely fashion. Mm-hmm. He was hitting receivers. And hey, they were just moving with momentum the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Even when they weren't pushing it for touchdowns, they were at least getting field goals and stuff like that out of every drive. And that really helped them a lot. The other thing that really I noticed about the game, not only did the defense for Philadelphia play extremely well, but also they had Mahomes just. I feel like this. I'm just gonna be just analyzing the football game like this. If Mahomes had connected on a couple of those passes that he would normally make to Travis Kelce, some of the ones to Hopkins, some of them were errant passes. Some of them, the receivers just couldn't make a catch. Like the one where Hopkins missed it. He kind of tripped and missed it over the field, wide open. If Mahomes was able to, if those were completed passes, this game would have been a lot different. Because that builds momentum. You know what I'm saying? When you start getting momentum and rhythm like that, then it's easier to kind of get more confident, more cozy, even though your line is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, because that line was getting shredded. You know what I'm saying? That line was getting it was getting
four.
With
they were only rushing 4 with just
the whole time. The whole time. Mm-hmm. But Kansas City did miss on a few passes that, if those were completed passes, ended up being completed passes. Like some throws that Mahomes normally would make, he was missing on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If those ended up being those miraculous completed passes, you're talking about momentum shift. Now the defense has to change up a little bit, because you're getting these little quick routes. You're getting these little, my safety nets, I'm hitting them. Mm-hmm. But that defense was playing so good that they were kind of giving them away. But I will say, you can't take nothing away from Philly's defense. Philly's defense played a phenomenal game. It got to the point, bro, like when we was in the third or whatever, I'm thinking, I don't even know who to give the MVP to.
I was thinking the same thing too.
Jalen Hurts, his numbers ain't standing out, but the way he's playing, you still can give him MVP. Yeah. Then I'm like, who's breaking out on here? Because none of the receivers had crazy numbers. Saquon was bottled up, and then you go on the defensive side, and you're like, boy, that defense played so good. I can give the whole defense an MVP.
Yeah. It was the ultimate team win. It was the ultimate team win.
Yes, it was.
And hey, Cooper DeJean from Iowa.
Oh yeah.
Man, I wanted the Rams to draft him, but man, he's solid. He's solid. Yeah, he's a solid rookie.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He played a really good game.
He did. That was the ultimate team win. Like you brought up, like it's the third quarter, and I don't know who to give the MVP to.
No, I didn't know who.
I was thinking to myself, like, this is a team win. Like, this is not. There was no individual that like broke out. Like the team just overall did what they had to do.
Yep.
And it was very impressive.
They came out to win. They came out to play, and they played the best game plan I think anybody has played against the Chiefs all year.
Oh, yeah.
And they showed they got a number one defense, number two, whatever you want to call it, number one passing defense, the number one offense, or whatever they had. Their offense and defense matched exactly what they were. Yeah. And they did just hit on all cylinders. It was a beautiful game. From Philadelphia standpoint, beautiful game.
Yeah.
Kansas City standpoint, terrible game.
Yeah, it was.
Offensively, it was more of an offensive terrible game, because that defense was they did their job in keeping Saquon from doing everything that they were supposed to do. And I know everybody know that was going to be the game plan, because Philadelphia's game plan is to run. Yeah. But they did their job. Defensively, for the most part, they did their job. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give up. I mean, they gave up, it was 40 points at the end of the game. You talk about 14. Technically, I kind of give them 14. I kind of give the defense 14 points for Philly. Even though they only had one pick six, but that second pick that was like real close to the goal line, I still kind of give it to, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, that's a defensive touchdown to me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I look at it from, let me just take away that 14. So you talk about a team that gave up 26 points offensively, technically. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of field goals Philly ended up kicking. You know what I'm saying? They kicked about four or five field goals or something like that.
4 field goals, I think
there was 2 touchdowns and like 3 field goals or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't play a bad game.
No, they didn't.
But the best way to beat the Kansas City Chiefs was to keep Mahomes off the field. Yeah. And that's pretty much what they did. They kept Mahomes off the field. That. The defense was out there, got 3 and outs, 4, you know what I'm saying? Quick 3 and outs. Usually, Kansas City is really good at getting those 3 third down and 3 yards.
Yeah, they weren't able to do it.
They were able to do it. They were missing on throws. You know what I'm saying? Kelsey,
Travis Kelce
he was dropping passes. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Kansas City, I will say they had opportunities. They were just missed. There were some opportunities they had that they just couldn't connect on.
Well, they abandoned the run early.
They didn't have a run. They didn't even run the ball, bro. Like,
but if you watch, even though Philly wasn't able to run the ball, they never really abandoned it. They still kept you. They still kept you like, hey, we might run it, you know, because they never throughout the game never abandoned the run. They still tried to run through the game.
Still gonna give it, He still got 20-something carries.
Yeah, KC like. How many times they ran the ball less than 10 times?
Yeah, I didn't think they came into game plan of even incorporating the run game.
No,
because when they first came in, they got their first down, and they just was pass.
Yeah.
And Pacheco, I mean, Kareem Hunt, I know he carried, I can remember like maybe 2 carries he had the whole game.
Yeah, and Pacheco had like a handful.
Yeah, maybe like 2 or 3. They did not run the football. So you don't know if they would have had success. They didn't run the football regardless. So you make it a team one-dimensional, even though it's Kansas City and it's hard to make them it's hard to beat them even when you do make them one-dimensional.
Right.
But when you sitting there and we're going to be like, okay, we're going to let our front 4 handle the rush, and then everybody else is just going to kind of sit zone.
Right. Yeah. That's really what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it was.
They dominated, just pure domination. And then the DBs were on point. Like passes that you would normally think would be caught, like that one on the out route, and old boy came through at the last minute and swatted it down. I said,
great defensive play.
These boys is out there, like. Mm-hmm. But I will be honest with you. I thought they was about to be on some KCBS with that first pass interference that they called. Man, bro.
Like, I said, here we go. First thing I thought, it's starting already.
I said, here we go. But then they ended up giving they made a makeup call for Philly.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to ask you, did you see that one? Yeah, the makeup call.
Come on now, that wasn't no damn. All right, whatever, bro. Y'all had a makeup call there. Yeah, now, but we know.
What do you think about what Hopkins said, where he was like, you know, what about the refs now? Like, look, if you play for Kansas City, you cannot say that, and the reason you can't say that is, okay, this is the game where it was like the calls were minute.
They were what they were, very minute.
They were what they were, very minute, and. You know, like, there wasn't nothing crazy going on. Like, they just let them play football, which I appreciated, right? There wasn't...
This is the kind of game that we've been asking them to do all year long. Just let them play. Aside for those 2 egregious calls that were like... Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, son. That wasn't no pass interference. That wasn't no... On both sides. This was one of those things where it was like... When you really look at all the replays of the calls, those offsides that y'all had on Kansas City, dude clearly lined up in the neutral zone. You know what I'm saying? They called holding on both teams. So it's just like, this is what we've been asking for all year.
Yes.
So now you got a game to where the refs weren't biased to one team or another. Now you talking about the refs. No, they weren't biased this game. This is that one game out of like 10 that we done already can go back and see that y'all done benefited off of these BS calls. One game, and you the refs now. It ain't got nothing to do with the refs now. They ain't did nothing.
Yeah.
Y'all just got busted up that time. So that makes me think all these close games that y'all had where y'all had refs in your back pocket. Mm-hmm. But we see a team like them come out and they play a clean game pretty much for the most part. Both teams kind of played with no interference whatsoever that much. Y'all got the doors blowed off of you.
And this game officiated the way it was is exactly how I want games to be officiated. And with Hopkins saying that, it almost like it's like, dude, that game actually validates our point.
Exactly.
Right. Like you're actually making our point, right?
Exactly, bro.
I appreciated the way they officiated the game in the Super Bowl. It was excellent. It was what I expect from NFL officials.
Yeah, we don't want the officials creating the game or dictating the game.
You're right.
We want y'all to do what your job is to referee the game the right way. You know what I'm saying? Right. We don't want you to dictate what the game's going to be like. Because once you start calling certain penalties and stuff like that, defenders stop playing like they're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because especially if you're starting to call things like little BS stuff, and it's just like, okay, now this is how the refs are calling the game.
Yeah.
Now I can't play like, you know what I'm saying? But It was fair on both sides. They got the makeup call after KC got a favorable call. Then y'all got a makeup call. Yeah, that was fair on both sides. Everybody know that wasn't no damn what they call on old boy that hit him the helmet. That wasn't no. You know what I'm saying?
Defenseless.
That ain't no. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to see that junk. That's not what we asking for. It's just like they almost make it seem like, oh, we just want the Chiefs to lose based upon people didn't like the Chiefs because they were getting favorable calls, bro. Like, and this shows like everybody pointing them all out.
Yeah.
Nobody, if the shoe was on the other foot and Philly got all the favorable calls in that Super Bowl on some BS junk, we would be here same day. People would have been all on Twitter. We would have been back, whatever, saying the same thing. Well, Philly got away with one. They got all the calls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We would have been saying the same script. If they would have spoiled the Super Bowl by giving them that favorable calls all night long, we would have been on here saying, shoot, Kansas City got hoes. You see them calls? You seen that call? You seen this call? Bro, that's BS. Yeah. Same thing.
It would have been the same thing. Yeah.
It ain't about y'all being the villains and stuff. Yeah, people get tired of y'all winning all the time, but that was the reason why.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people love to see teams. They love to see people succeed. People love to back winning championship teams. Tom Brady has gotten a whole bunch of followers behind him for winning Super Bowls after Super Bowls, be considered the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. People love to see those things.
Right.
But they also hate to see BS.
Oh, yeah.
And when they see BS, they're going to call out BS. And that's what happened with Kansas City. They keep seeing BS. Now everybody's is hip to it. We calling it out. Now y'all feeling some type of way about y'all winning. Well, we feel like that y'all are winning on some BS. If y'all stop winning on some BS and start playing good football, and the refs ain't helping you,
then the narrative will switch.
Yeah. If Mahomes ain't out there trying to flop for calls,
all of that.
Ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Stop on the sideline to try to trick the defender to make the
When you are trying to entice the defense to create a penalty that ain't there, and you are getting that penalty call, people gonna have problems with you, and that's what they need to understand. It ain't got nothing to do with Kansas City and people just hating KC. I ain't never known somebody to, outside of like the AFC West type of fan base that really hated Kansas City. Nobody ever talks about Kansas City to even hate them. You know what I'm saying? So why? Unless you were in that division, Raider fans hate Kansas City. Denver fans hate Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? But
Charger fans hate Kansas City.
Yeah, but people like us, like the Rams and 49ers, they don't give a damn about what Kansas City doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Until we see you in the Super Bowl.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't care. So, you know, it's just one of those things that people are calling out the BS when we seen it. It's not it's not no coincidence that everybody is talking about y'all getting favorable calls.
Yeah.
Everybody is talking about it. So the whole world's lying about it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody just
You know what I'm saying?
everybody lying.
We just bringing out tapes and video of what's happening, and the whole world
what we
seeing us
witnessed
on TV, what we're witnessing on TV.
Yeah.
And then we posted it on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, making memes and jokes and all these other things about it.
Right.
Just off of some BS, right? It's just fantasy. It's just fake, right?
We just
hating now. We just hating.
Exactly.
No, there's memes about hating. You seen all the cowboy memes that be out here?
Yeah.
Whether they winning or they losing and all the stuff, or anytime that they're losing, you got so many cowboy memes that has nothing to do with them getting favorable calls.
Yeah.
They just getting memed because there's
That's
people
it.
that can't stand the Cowboys.
That's
it.
It
Ain't got nothing to do with.
I'm one of them.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I love to talk about them. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
So when you seeing these things, like, you get people that actually troll and meme the Cowboys, but when it comes to Kansas City, it's always a meme with y'all and the refs.
Yeah.
Because this is what they see. You don't see y'all Cowboys and the refs. You just see Cowboys, they lost again. And we trolling the Cowboys about losing because their fan base and all them, they so high horse, everybody can't stand their ass. So
that's what it comes down to.
So there's a big difference, bro. There's a big difference between hating and pointing out and stating out what we see.
What we see. Yeah. Period. Yeah, period. Look, I watched the halftime show. You did mention to me that you didn't.
I didn't watch it.
So
I heard about it though.
Yeah. Okay. So I enjoyed it. All right. So a lot of people thought that it was too boring or not exciting enough. I think Kendrick Lamar went out there and did exactly what he wanted to do. Right. Mm-hmm. I think he went out and he just simply put on a performance. He made every point that he wanted to make. I got all the little nuances and how the performance went, but I have to point it out. Like I cannot not talk about it, right? For one, the lowercase a pendant that he had, A minor. Wow,
that's crazy work.
Yeah. So that, and I have to, here's the thing. I want to be clear to people that are fans of Drake, right? I am of the belief that you can enjoy Drake and you can enjoy Kendrick Lamar, right?
I mean, why not? It's music.
It's music, right? Are there some Drake songs I like over his career? Yes, there's
here.
I will be honest. I haven't listened to a full Drake album probably in 10 years, right? So, and that's just because I can't relate in the same way to Drake. I don't go to the clubs anymore, so I don't know about it. I'm not, lover boy and all of that stuff. I can't relate to that.
Right.
And that's not to say that I necessarily can relate to everything that Kendrick Lamar talks about, but I listen to it. I can listen to it in a different way because it hits me differently, right?
Right.
Versus Drake. Drake's just different, right? And so I've been called a Drake hater, and I'm like, well, I don't hate him, or whatever. But my point is I did really appreciate that Kendrick Lamar was very direct when he looked in the camera, smiled, and said, "Hey Drake, I hear you like I'm young." In the Super Bowl.
Oh wow.
In the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh wow.
Right? And I winked while doing that, right? Yo, that's a different kind of diabolical. That's
so disrespectful.
That's so disrespectful. And I loved it. I really appreciated it, right? And what was real cool is when he got to and it's probably A minor, The whole crowd yelled that. And then at the end, it shows the crowd and the lights. Like people have their phones and the lights and stuff. It said "Game Over" in the crowd. Bro,
he did his thing, bro.
He did his thing, and
it sounds like he did his thing. And then I seen that he had like people like Serena Williams and SZA that was out there.
Yeah,
and they,
was,
they're they part of Drake's exes too.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah.
It's a different type of bitterness going on out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I personally appreciated the halftime show. For the ones that don't, hey, that's your prerogative.
That sounds very diabolical the way he was out there. Yeah, he was very disrespectful. So disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Yeah.
And like how you said though, with a lot of things when people be talking about, like how you said, you can like both music. Music is music,
Yeah, you can like them both.
I've never been the hugest Drake fan. I've liked some of his older stuff when he first came out, the more hungrier side of him.
Yeah, the mixtape Drake, as I call it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I really appreciated his artistry. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole different story when you're talking about, that's how you end up loving, like, you could like people's music or whatever. Like, I thought the way that he put things together when he first came in, now I think he's lazy when it comes to his music. But that's just me. That's my own personal.
He's just going based on his fan base.
Yeah, he didn't got a fan base. He didn't got stardom, so now he don't try as hard. That's how I personally feel. Not everybody's going to feel that way. Yeah. But I don't really listen to a lot of his new stuff. But his older stuff, I felt like it was more artistry in his music that he put out there. You know what I'm saying? And he had a lot of stuff that people could relate to more than what it is now. Mm-hmm. And Kendrick Lamar, I've heard Kendrick's album, and you know how I felt about a few of his albums. They're hard listens for me sometimes because of the way that he does his music. So, like the Miles Morales, what was the last one he did before this
Big
one?
Steppers.
Big Stepper. I didn't like that album personally. It wasn't it wasn't a listen for me. You know what I'm saying? People could say whatever they want, but sometimes with Kendrick, I have to go back again to try to re-listen to something to appreciate more of it at that time because they're harder listens. Except for his last album, he just dropped that little one. That one, I told you. I believe I texted to you. That one I played front to back, and I listened to every song on that mug. Yeah. That jam.
Yeah, it does.
He was spitting on that one. I love that one. Not to say Kendrick ain't never spitting. He's always spitting. But sometimes, sometimes the music can be hard for certain people to listen to.
Right.
And it ain't it's
a certain vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe that you have to get.
You got to be in a
And sometimes he don't hit that type of vibe that I be on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, some of those things are like, it's a little bit too hard for me to listen to. Not that it ain't good or it can't be good or it ain't lyrically on A1. It's just it's kind of like listen to the sometimes like some of these underground rappers. You might listen to the old school underground rappers and they may be spitting some hot bars. You know what I'm saying? That's going off, but they got the weakest beat ever.
Yeah.
And it's just like
you can't.
It's great that you can spit, but with your choice of the sonic pleasing music to catch the ear, it's hard for people to listen to. That's why a lot of them don't blow up like how you would think they should, because you're giving me a hard listen, but you got some hard lyrics, but I just can't. This is something I have to play by myself in a car. I can't jam to it. You know what I'm saying? I can turn to it and be like, oh, this song might go hard. Like,
yeah.
But I just can't jam to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that jam. And then you got those songs that you kind of throw on and you just like, bro, I'll replay this every single day. Because it jams all the way through. It ain't just the lyrics, but it's the song in general. Yeah.
That's what makes like artists like Big Crit so dope to me. Like,
yes.
Because Big Crit,
that's my boy.
The words and the beats, just the balance
Mm-hmm.
is always just fire.
He's always like A1 on it, bro.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a Southern boy, so
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You raised in that South, boy, it just kind of hit a little different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the 808 start banging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's something different about this right now.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you got that spitting that ain't. I'm just not talking. You know what I'm saying? Like you just not talking. I got something to say. You know what I'm saying?
The South has something to say.
Exactly.
Like Andre 3000 said years ago, the South got something to say. And it's spirituals, man. It hit different. You know what I mean? Like you said, that country sound, man, it hit different. Like it really hits us different. Like
close to home. Because it's like you can literally relate to some of the things most of the things that they talking about. It's just like this is what I see on a daily basis. Like you could talk about like somebody coming out like a Texas rapper or anybody talk about slabs.
Yeah,
like, we've been growing up on that joint, so
exactly.
we know about them.
We know about
you know what I'm saying? We know about this, we know about that, that and the third. We know about country living down here and stuff like that. It's just like that stuff hit close to home. Then you start talking spiritually. It's like you're almost hitting that spirit level for us down in the South. Like and it's the same when you talk about the East Coast and the way that they got their music. Their people. They gravitate to that a lot more than, because they can live that lifestyle. I don't know nothing about it's drug dealing and all that stuff like that. I'm not saying that's what they all talk about. I'm just saying it's a general consumption. I'm not in that light of a person that would like to hear all those. I could jam to those songs when they got a nice trap beat or something like that to them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they hit hard in the club. Yeah. But I can't resonate with that type of lifestyle because I ain't never, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never did all this stuff.
Right.
But
it's funny because like me and Aaron was talking. My son, we was talking, and he was just saying like, what's wrong with club songs now? Like, what's wrong with the club songs now? Because I don't listen to club songs now, and I said, man, I haven't been to the club in like more than 15 years ago. I haven't been to the club like that in like 15 years, man. Longer than that. Like that was like 2004, 2005, 2006. Yeah. And so I was like, if I want to hear like some club stuff, I'm gonna put Jeezy Motivation 101. I'm gonna put Lil Jon and Eastside. I'm gonna put T.I. Trap. Trap
you know what I'm saying?
And you know what I mean? Like, I'm a put that stuff on because that was what was in Young Bloods and Ying Yang Twins. Like,
that was our era of the club.
That was our era of the club. That's what I remember hearing in the club. You know what I mean? So like, I could relate in a different way because I was in the club when that was out. But like. Like now, I don't go to the club. I don't really know what they play.
So I don't know what they play. Yeah, you hear what's on the radio every now and then, and just like, is this in the club? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
you kind of gotta, is this what y'all? It's different. It is different. Like I was thinking something similar like this. Is like when I was talking about, me and the old lady was talking about like music, or we was talking about something about music or club or something like that. And it just kind of hit me and dawned the type of music, especially like where you are from, what y'all listen to. Like here, I can remember going down into like the last club that I was down out here back in the early 2000s, and I'm listening to, they playing Trey, swing, that swing and I swing, and it's just like the difference in Trump, this, but that's what they do down here, slow down beats, you know what I'm saying? That slow, loud, and banging, that slab. We could play that stuff in the club here. Yeah, but they ain't playing that over there.
There's probably not. There's probably not another state outside of Texas that's ever played Big Mo, Just a Dog in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we get that here. You know what I'm saying?
We get that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you could play that in the club today here in Texas, and you're gonna get because Big Mo and that song, that, you know what I mean? Or if you play Lil Kiki Southside.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Like
yeah, oh
here in
yeah.
Texas, people know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Texas, and that's what's even crazier. Like pre Spotify and all of that stuff, when it was still albums, you got to remember, like them Houston artists, they were going platinum in Texas.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
were going like gold and
Facts.
platinum in Texas.
Yep.
Like we're not even counting whatever leaked into Louisiana and Mississippi, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
made it to Tennessee. Like
Yep.
we talking just in Texas alone. And
Yeah.
so
For real.
yeah, like you said, it hits different with us. Like
Mm-hmm.
now, granted, me and you historically, like me and you have been into music from all
Yeah.
regions of the country. Like me
Oh
and you
yeah.
are just
Oh
hip
yeah.
hop heads, right?
Yeah.
Like since I've known you, we both been hip hop heads. We,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Facts.
whether it was 400 Degrees, you know, it could be a Little Wayne album, a
Wayne,
DMX album,
DMX. You know
Ti
what I'm saying?
album,
Ti, 3 6 Mafia.
3 6 Mafia.
You know what I'm saying? It could
Yeah, like
anywhere you got it. Snoop
Jay
Dogg, if you
Z,
want to bring that up,
Nas, Snoop.
it
Yeah,
didn't
and like
matter. Yeah.
we twisted, like we was just
Yeah, all over the globe.
yeah, we was just hip hop heads. But the South was, you know what I mean? Because I remember the first time I heard trap music with Ti, you had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it because you had it, right? And so like what was it? But at the same time, I remember when the Black album came out.
Yeah. I
With
remember
Jay-Z.
that too.
I
remember us listening to it.
I
You had bought it. Yeah, you
exactly.
bought it, and we was listening to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that. Like so like with music, while it is regional and we all relate to different things in different ways, like, you know, certain things hit us differently, and like you said, with Drake, it not to say that he ain't a good artist or whatever.
Right.
I just don't relate to it.
With it.
I don't, you know.
Yeah.
But like Kendrick, I'm a huge fan of Kendrick because I like and like you said, for you, you know, Big Steppers, it didn't hit with you that hard, but like sometimes you go back and re-listen, whatever.
Yeah.
But what I appreciate is the time that he takes to put out a good body of work for him as an artist. Like he takes it seriously, like all the time. Like everything he puts out, he takes it seriously. Like I don't know if
you can appreciate that.
You could appreciate that. I don't know if you know, and if you go back and listen, it's a podcast I listen to, Dissect, where they dissect and break down different music, and they dissected the Damn album. But when you go, and I've done this, when you go listen to it forward, if you listen to it forward, it tells a certain story. But if you listen to it backwards, it tells a different story. So like the story is, I think if I could remember correctly, if you listen to it forward, it's from the perspective of somebody being evil and turning, or somebody being like holy and godly and turning evil. And if you listen to it backwards, it's the opposite. You're starting out evil and you become, you know, godly.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, and it really it's really like that. When you listen to it, you're like, oh snap. Like when I heard that and then I went back and listened and I was like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? But just deep stuff like that. But you know,
that gives me another way to try to listen to it.
Yeah. On that Damn album, that's how that Damn album, that's how that's supposed to be. What other artists would you like to see do the Super Bowl? Or is there like a collaboration of artists, like how Dr. Dre had, you know, 50 and Snoop and Mary J, and you know, like what would be a solid lineup for you?
That's a hard one for me because I don't really I don't typically do a lot of Super Bowl halftime shows. Like I catch some of them every now and then. Like right now, I don't know. Like the one I can go off of like ones that I've seen in the past. Well, of course, a couple of them I can't never get again. I'm never gonna get a Prince. I ain't never gonna get a Michael Jackson again at a Super Bowl.
You're not.
You know, I thought Bruno Mars killed it the last Super Bowl he was on.
Okay.
He jammed. Sometimes I think typically I like for the more pop R&B artists to be on there.
Got you.
Because I feel like they put on better shows than like I mean rappers, they you know what I'm saying, they have their little like Kendrick is one like just based on what you're telling me, he's more thought provoking for his show. Because he's more thought provoking in general.
Right.
But then when I'm looking at it like I think Usher did an alright one. But more than like, I just, because there's so much variety that you can get with a pop artist. Like, you know, I think that they can kind of almost, the whole, they could put on an actual show. So I'm guessing instead of me figuring out a single person or whatever, I could just put a genre of music that I would like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like a more of a pop artist can be out there. Somebody like your Chris Browns or somebody that's going to put on a show or performance piece versus just music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen what Dre and them did in their little thing, which was cool. But I'm looking for something that is more that's going to be, everybody is going to be more in tune with. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like those that can get out there and actually do performance pieces, dancing, you know what I'm saying, and get a little creative with it, is going to gravitate more to an exciting Super Bowl. Right. And because out of all of them that I've seen, those have been the best ones I've ever witnessed. You know what I'm saying? Like when I like I said, when I saw Michael Jackson do his Super Bowl, it was a memorable one. When Prince came out with the Purple Rain joint, you know what I'm saying? Hey, he shut it down.
That's probably my favorite one.
You feel me? You say so he shut it down. When I saw Bruno Mars do his last one, and it ain't like, you know, I listen to some of his music or whatever like that, and I like some of the music that Bruno Mars does.
Yeah, me too.
But the performance that he did, I was just like, bro, this man is jamming out there. That's what I like when I watch out to look at the Super Bowl. I'm like, give me the whole piece. You know what I'm saying? Give me a whole performance. If you can get out there and play the piano, a guitar, dance, do all these different things, I would love to see that because it makes it exciting for everybody to look back on and be like, man, that was a wonderful piece to watch. Like, so now when I'm hearing, like, I was one of those ones that would be like, man, how you have a Super Bowl without Lil Wayne? But then as you start thinking about it, how much more of a Super Bowl piece would Lil Wayne have done? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could have seen him been out there I could have seen him, you know, it would have been cool to see him come out there and perform a song or something like that. That'd have been cool if they just brought him out, you know what I'm saying, and they threw a little Wayne song because of his impact and what he means to New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? That would have been dope. But overall, when you talk about performances, you want somebody that's performing. You don't want something that's just like, oh, I just went to a concert and I seen this dude stand on stage for about 10, 15 minutes doing nothing but standing on stage for about 10, 15. I'm not at a concert. I'm at a halftime show.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm at a show. I want to see a show, a performance piece. So, being said of that, it's more of the genre of music that I think that kind of course, like you can have your rap music or whatever. You can have your, even probably some rock bands or whatever. But to be honest, it just has to be an artist that can tap into an artistry. You know what I'm saying? That can really bring out their creativeness to be, I'm going to put on a nice show, not just a concert. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not at a concert, we're at a show. So I need something that's going to gravitate. So that's why I say a lot of pop artists usually have that creativity because they do a lot more. You know, I could see a Chris Brown going out there performing at a Super Bowl.
I would love to see Chris Brown do a halftime
that's
show.
one of the first things that come to my mind because of the fact that I know what he can do as far as a performance piece, how he goes about his performances. You're detailed with it. And that's what you were saying when you was talking about Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar was better for it because Kendrick Lamar puts on performances at his concerts versus just a show, just a concert.
Just a concert.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. I would love to see like a Chris Brown, have Chris Brown, and then like T-Pain come out,
Yeah.
maybe, and then like Usher come out, and then what I mean,
Yeah.
like
You know what I'm
one of
saying?
those kind of one of them kind of deals. But
It has to
that
be
would be
something like that. It's somebody like a Chris Brown who's done work with so many different artists. You can bring out your rappers like your Busta Rhymes because of
yeah
the song he
yeah
got with
with that
Busta Rhymes and stuff.
exactly yeah.
You could do so much more because he functions with so. Yeah, well, there's my answer, Chris Brown. I want to
There
see
you
him at a
go.
Super Bowl.
There
Chris
you
Brown,
go.
put him out there. Let me see what he can do because I know that boy can perform, and
Yeah.
that's what we want. We want a performance. We don't want to sit there and watch a concert on TV.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Switching gears a little bit. Did you happen to watch any of the Lakers game last night?
I actually missed it.
Luka. Okay.
I forgot it came on, and I missed the whole game.
I watched the first half before I fell asleep. Obviously, they were playing Utah, so Utah is not great. So we don't really know. What I can say is I don't know. Luka looked good. I think they did a good job of staggering the how him and LeBron go in and out and having them in at the same time sometimes, and neither one played any big minutes, but I think
Lucas played like 23, something like that.
Yeah, something like that ballpark. I mean, he had like 14 points. I think there's potential for it, even though they do not look like a defensive team.
That's for sure.
And they don't have like a big man. They really have to play like small ball because of the trade issues. I am worried that since that trade didn't go through, Connect. I feel like he's probably feeling a little bit unwanted, right?
More than likely.
I think that is going to alter his development a little bit. I hope it doesn't, but I feel like he's not.
I hope not.
I feel like he feels like, I've looked like the best rookie, and this is what y'all, want to do with me, right? I get
this
why
is
they
where,
didn't.
Go ahead.
No. So I get. Remember, I said that we needed to trade Reeves for a big man, but Reeves is also having like a career season right now. So it's really hard as an organization. Again, this is a business, so moves have to be made. I would have rather them maybe do Reeves versus Dawson Connect, but it's a business, and they probably felt like that's the best that they, they probably felt like they were getting the better value with trading Connect.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? What do you thought?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think that I see where Connect will probably be at, but that I was gonna say this is where leadership has to kick in. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody needs to be able to mentor him. Somebody like, you could say like LeBron, or somebody that has gone through, heck, even Luka. You know what I'm saying? He's gone through something where he thought he was never gonna get traded.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
it will have to take somebody like Connect to get confidence back or whatever, because that's gonna always kind of kill confidence when you drafted somewhere and then all of a sudden it looks like you in your expendable assets. But
Right.
it should take somebody that's gonna come in and be like, hey, look, we understand this has not been nothing personal. This is the way the business works. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean that we don't want you as players or this team. We want you here. We know you can ball. We know what you are. You know what I'm saying? Just, hey, these things like this happen. Somebody just needs to kind of uplift him so he can get, you know what I'm saying? Because these young kids out there, they they don't understand that part of the business yet. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna understand that. You know, and I think that this is where leadership needs to step in for him to help him get back on track. Overall, though, I think it was actually good that y'all, especially with the deal y'all probably would have got with Mark Williams as a big.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's had his injury history and things like that. But I think that if he could stay healthy, he would have been an asset for y'all. A really good asset, you know what I'm saying, for what he can actually produce down in the blocks. Because I've seen him. I watched him, you know, so far with the 20-something games he's been able to play this year with Charlotte. He's looked pretty good. You know what I'm saying? He's got potential. He's only in his third year. So, you know, sometimes it takes time for them. Whatever he's ailing with, it might pan out for him. I mean, it's possible he could still go through problems. I mean, this is the problem you're gonna have with injury. You know, the injury history. But I think that y'all did right by keeping Reeves because I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a bad boy.
Yo, yeah, he is.
That's a bad boy.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Austin Reeves a bad boy. Yeah, he can have his inconsistencies, but when he's consistent, yeah.
He's a problem.
Yeah, that's a bad boy, man.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to trade him neither. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely, you know, if you was to trade him and you was to get a nice piece in return for him, you know, you do have to kind of think about think about maybe entertaining that if you want a big man that's actually worth something, but that big man better be somebody that's going to be, you know, you could rely on. He's going to be playing games, you know what I'm saying? He can't be somebody injury prone. But I think that was a good choice for y'all to actually keep Austin Reeves because if you're looking down at the future, Austin Reeves and Luka can actually make a good duo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're looking at the future. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something that I recently thought about. Let's say this offseason. Go ahead.
Real quick before you start on, I was going to also say, heck, if y'all would, if the Lakers are willing to put more time in developing Jackson Hayes, y'all might not need a big man.
You're right.
Y'all might not need an actual big man. They need to try to put some effort into try to develop that boy a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, because he's very athletic.
Yeah,
he can shot block. You know what I'm saying? You might not have to go outside and get you a big man. You might have one. He's been in the league for a while, but nobody's really seemed to have taken the time to really try to fully develop him. Now, I don't know that. That's just my thought process because he doesn't really play a lot of times on any team. So that means that either A, he's not grasping it to where you want him to be, or y'all just got him on the rosters.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's teams that just get a big body just to have him. He's just on the roster. Yeah. I feel like they should probably incorporate him more and put some more resources in developing his game. Mm-hmm. Jackson Hayes might be something that's really nice.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
He could pull off the Tyson Chandlers. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Chandler was. Tyson Chandler, he wasn't dope. He wasn't no exceptional talent when he first came in the league. He kind of just was there. You know what I'm saying? He kind of moved around a lot. He had a defensive game and could rebound. But as he developed his game more, he became a great asset for teams. Like, you just looking for, all the Lakers are looking for is a big body that can rim protect, grab rebounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Develop Jackson Hayes for that. He already got the athleticism to be a rim protector. Mm-hmm. Just develop his game defensively. Like, really sit down and focus with this boy and be like, hey, look, we're gonna work this off season. Mm-hmm. You're gonna work with me, and we're gonna put in some work.
Yeah,
because we need you to get here. We need you to be here.
Well, you know, like looking at the future, if you have Luka, you have Reeves, you have Connect, and like you said, Hayes. If you develop them, but it's good pieces to start with, unless, because I have to think that maybe in the offseason they might try to trade Connect given what happens with the rest of the season. We don't know.
Yeah.
But these are good. This is a good foundation for the next 3 to 5 years, right? Great foundation. Yeah. Now, on the flip side of the trade, we look at Dallas, and right now they're battered by injury, and AD played 3.5 quarters. I think it was 3 quarters, and he's out indefinitely. They don't know when he'll be back. All their big men, I think Gafford's still dealing with injury. Kyrie Irving is nursing his back, right? So they made this trade, and I what I think is ironic is they've talked about Luka not giving the best efforts and not being steadfast on health and eating properly and all of that. And they're riddled with injuries, and I don't understand. Like, how do you come out and say that? Is this just something that you're trying to convince yourself of because you made one of the, in my opinion, wildest trades in NBA history? Like, are you trying to convince yourself that Luka was like not the guy for you because you don't think he's healthy enough? I mean, the guy carried the team to the NBA Finals last year. How can you say he's not dedicated to winning?
I don't know.
Like,
I ain't got no answer for that.
Right, like
I ain't got no answer for that.
Nobody actually does, but I mean, it's just I find it hard that this new owner and that Jason Kidd and you know, the GM would actually believe that they don't find Luka to be a winner. The guy averages 29, 9, and 8 for his career.
And this is the thing, though. This is the other thing that kind of does sticks out. We as fans or whatever, we see what he produces on the court. But let's just be honest. We don't know what goes on in that locker room. And we don't know what goes on in those practices. We don't see what they may be seeing out of Luka. We see what he shows on the court, which is always results of good things. So we always looking at this is the dumbest thing possible. But we don't know what goes on behind closed doors that we might not see, that may be going on, that might have pushed them away from wanting to be around them or having Luka there. I don't see Luka as being no problematic person, but I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Kyrie doesn't find him to be problematic because Kyrie came out and was like, "No, we're friends. We know each other's families. We talk about things off the court. We're friends."
Kyrie's been in this peaceful era for a long time now.
But everybody, in terms of the people that are on the court with him, seem to they're treading lightly, like they don't want to say anything bad about, you know, ownership and the, you know, and the trade and stuff. But at the same time, you can see that they're confused about it and they really like Luka and they didn't want him to be traded.
Oh yeah. Well, see, like a lot of times there are personalities but like I said, we don't know what other people are seeing. Like the players might be like, "Oh, this is cool." We don't know what the GMs are feeling like when it comes to Luka, contract situations. I think it's more of a contract situation than anything. With the new ownership group, they probably ain't looking at trying to pay him that much money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is it going to cost us this much money? What can I do if we do get a Luka? How much wiggle room will we have later on to get a full team around him? You know what I'm saying? If we're paying him $300-something million, he's taking up all of our salary cap. We got a Kyrie Irving we're going to have to pay sometime. We got all these other players that we got to try to pay. I guess it's kind of, you got to look at it from a business aspect. Is it more of a business move that was made? That down the line, we don't know if we're going to be able to produce a good team around him and lose him later on because we can't grab a team around him because he's costing so much money. Look at the Lakers situation. They've been riddled with salary cap problems for a long time. That has been because they cater to LeBron, wanting to get all these people paid. You can't do nothing. Now you ain't got wiggle room to do anything. You got to try to keep drafting these small, keep getting these third-rate, fourth-rate players, these undrafted free agents or older people. You kind of got to you got to find ways to build a team around what we're strapped on cap-wise.
Right.
And you've seen what that's done with the Lakers for the last, 4 or 5 years. They want to blame it on the coach, but they ain't, even with a new coach, they've been down the same road because you don't have the money to be able to do what you want to do. And then you got to constantly be like, okay, LeBron's contract is coming up in 2 years. He's going to do a 1-and-1. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
it becomes a game of, it does become that game of, when we looking at it, can we continue to build around this person or not? You might be stuck with a Jimmy Butler situation. People don't want to come to Dallas. People don't want to come to this because they, even though I don't know why people wouldn't want to go to Dallas. I'm just saying. People didn't want to, they say that people didn't like going to Miami because of that culture. Pat Riley, you know, how he's been doing. But you wonder why they've been stuck with the same team for so many years. They can't move nobody around. They can't do much of anything. So you kind of got to look at it from that business standpoint. If I want to keep this team or if I need to make moves, can we talk Luka? Have they been in talks with Luka to see if he'll take less money, or is he have strong fit on getting this $300 million? And then they got a new ownership group. So, you know, that new ownership group ain't got no player
intentions.
They got no ties to the players. There's no built up relationship there.
Yeah.
Because Mark Cuban was trying to egg old dude not to do it, but it was too late by the time that he was sitting there, because Mark Cuban would have never traded Luka Doncic.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there's a relationship there.
Yeah.
This new group don't have a relationship to these players like that. They just they're like 2 years into it, maybe
this
2
the
years,
second
something
year.
like that.
So it's the second year. Yeah.
So there's no relationship there. How much are they really invested in the game of basketball? So when the GM is like, they probably looking like, well, we don't want to pay him this much money.
Right.
You know, but we don't have no real ties to him like that. We don't have a real relationship to him like that. Mark Cuban was one of those people that, I'm going to pay you money.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you this. You are my star player. I'm going to keep you around. That's like what he did with Dirk. He kept Dirk his whole career. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And the GM that, you know, it's just one of those things to where it's the business side of it is, I think, is what dominated that whole thing. I don't really think, I'm starting to think more it was just an excuse to try to cover up all he just ain't did or whatever, or somebody speculate. I think it's just more of a business move.
Yeah, they just didn't.
We don't want to pay him $300-something million, so we're gonna go ahead and let you just move on from him, get the best deal that you can get. Plus, we already know that there's already that AD know he's kind of done work with that GM of the Mavericks or whatever. He's kind of got a relationship there. You know, NBA is all about relationships, things like that. And for them to do something to where it was so under the table, that lets me know this is more financial move than it is anything to do with the player being disgruntled or whatever. It's just starting to think about it. I think it's more financial. They didn't want to pay Luka.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning to as well. I just don't like just say that. Don't come out and like try to make it.
But they can't. But they can't.
Yeah.
They got to make it something. They got to make it a problem to try to justify the situation. They can't just say, "Oh, we didn't want to pay him."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How does that look? Oh, we didn't want to pay him. Let's go ahead and throw it on the.
Because then you can't get players there.
Exactly. Then you be looking at you. Oh, so you don't want to play your players?
Yeah.
They can't come out and say that. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, but you know, and it's just like one of those things that I think that's what it is. We don't want to pay him down the road. His contract is coming up. We got to deal with that. But we don't. AD already has a contract, so we're gonna go ahead and just swap.
Right. Well, if they're, you know, the only thing is you're rolling the dice because you're hoping to win. Fact. You're hoping to win now, right? But your window is very small because you got to look at 3. For one, well, AD's injured right now, but let's say AD wasn't injured. Well, 3 of your starters are in their 30s, right? Kyrie, right? Clay, right? AD, right? So while that's not old, it's old in basketball, right?
It is. Yeah.
And so let's say you got 2 to 3 more years out of them, right? let's say even we'll say 3 or 4 more years out of them, right?
Right.
If they're going to be declining. Like they're not going to get. They're not gonna. They've reached their ceiling.
They're kind
So
of at their peak. Yeah.
yeah, right. So the thing is, if that doesn't happen in 2 to 3 years, 2 or 3 years, Luca's only 27 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, you've given up your future for right now. That's probably not going to happen given how bad they've been stricken with injuries this season. Like, and I doubt now. Honestly, I doubt they even make. They might make a play in. They might, but I doubt it because you don't know when AD is coming back.
Yeah,
You
that's
have
the problem.
there's so many of your players that you right now don't know when they're coming back. At any point, Kyrie's back is back issues are are hell, like and so you never know when that's going to be an issue. So you've kind of like rolled the dice on.
What if?
Go ahead.
What if
What you
another
think?
thought process, like you said, yeah, they definitely rolled the dice. Let's just be honest. You definitely playing with fire over there.
Yeah.
But what if? Just kind of just dawned on me. What if the contract negotiations and things that they've been talking to? Maybe they've been talking to Luca about trying to get him in a new contract, and Luca's so hell bent on this money that they might have thought that if we don't pay him because we're not willing to pay him, we might lose him for nothing.
That's possible. That's possible.
That's the only other thought process I could even throw out there that would be like, why would you let go of a 25-year-old?
It makes total sense.
Yeah, either the conversations you've been having with him for the last couple of years, possibly trying to get him. We know contracts coming up because contracts, they always gonna be talking.
Right.
And players are gonna want their money.
Yes, absolutely.
But if you are talking and you are kind of like, okay, we can't do X, Y, and contracts talks are just not. It just hasn't got out to the press, but they're just not going like you want them to go. And you kind of might be getting the sense that, okay, our new ownership group really ain't trying to pay this much money, but we don't want to lose him for nothing when it comes to that time. That was the only way I could think about. You go ahead and just
is Luca not worth? Is Luca not worth? Because here's the thing: Luca fills your seats up too. Like, is Luca not worth? 348 million, whatever it was.
Like 345 or something like that.
Yeah, for over 5 years. Is he not worth that?
I think he would be.
I think he would be for.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah,
I think he's worth it.
But I agree with what you're saying.
The problem is you got to think how we talk about a lot of times when you talk about business. If I'm looking down the road and I'm just gonna speak from I would pay him the money. Yeah. That's just me personally, because I am a person I like to see people stay.
Yeah.
With the teams that they were drafted with. I love to see that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when they put money in your pockets, show them some kind of loyalty on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. Yeah. But if I was to really take it from that business stand, I'm also a person that looks at players and says that if you want to win, you need to sacrifice something. It could be money. That's the easiest thing for a player to sacrifice is a little bit of money so my organization can get the pieces around me. If I am an organization or GM and I'm looking and I'm like, dang, I really want to keep this dude. I have this problem on 2K all the time. You know what I'm saying? I be sitting there on 2K, Madden, whatever it is. I see the player, I'm like, man, I want to keep this player so bad. But what does it do to my team later on down the road? Like, if you kind of run into that hard process, there's like, dang, this is a superstar player, a superstar talent. Yeah, I want to keep him. But if I keep him, will I still be able to win with a roster that I can't make changes to? Just because we got there 1 year. Right. Like last year, that was a real they got there, but that was a struggle. Luka had to play hurt Everybody was kind of banged up. They had to play and struggled to get to where they played great. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, can I run it back with the same team? Can I continue to run it back with the same team? Because Luke is going to be another year older. Everybody else is getting older that's already here. We are all getting older around these things. And then you come into this season, you seeing how many people's banged up. You look at last year in the playoffs, people playing banged up. It's just like, okay, I need to try to think about, can I get depth? How can I get depth on my squad? How can I might not get the best player. I might have the superstar player, but if I can't see a way to be able to get talented people around them, will I lose this player in the future? Can I get something good out of this player? Can I maybe trade him for an asset that I might be able to pick up that's going to be sold up for a couple of years already that's cheaper? Lets me get a little bit under the salary cap where I can maneuver. I could pay Kyrie when his thing is coming up or whoever it is. And you're playing with a lot of different pieces. And sometimes I think that is the hard part about being a GM is sometimes you might have to give up your best asset to give you a better chance, whether it's now or in the future. Because in the future, it could be this came out to be the better move because we done saved money. Now we can get other players to come here to pair with an AD, fit people in certain positions that we need to fit,
I hear you. And in theory, that sounds great. But I would say 98% of the owners in the league would not have done that.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Not 98%. Did you happen to see Jim? Oh, well, go ahead. What was you?
No, I was just gonna say, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it could have been something that was just financially they didn't think that they were going to be able to make. And I mean, I'm at the liberty with some of these GMs or whatever. I'd rather trade this person off to get something in back return than to lose you for nothing at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Did you happen to see Jimmy in Golden State?
Yeah, I saw Jimmy in Golden State.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Jimmy's doing what Jimmy Butler things.
Jimmy's doing
Jimmy Butler things.
That's
and
what I like
too. I like what Curry and Jimmy Butler said after the first game. They're polar opposites, so they complement each other.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy Butler, he ain't shooting threes. But he is going to kill you getting to the rack, drawing the. Well, he done had 15 free throws the first game. He had like 15 the second game.
I was like, yeah, that's Jimmy.
So that's Jimmy Butler right there.
Yep.
It ain't about, and it works so far. Yep. It's been working. They won 2 games already with that. What you call it? Heck, I looked at the stats the other night. Jimmy Butler had 4 steals. Draymond Green had 5.
Yeah, yes.
So it's like it opens the floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like how Jimmy said, they gonna double team Steph. So when they double teaming Steph and doing all this stuff on Steph, my job is to bust y'all butt. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get to that mid range and get to that rim, and he's gonna put some fouls on these people. And guess what? You're gonna have to guard Jimmy Butler now. Now that you gotta be focused on Jimmy Butler, guess what Curry doing? Running, roaming free around that 3-point line, being able to do whatever he want to do. Mm-hmm. It's because their games are so different, it works out perfectly fine. And Jimmy Butler gives you both sides of the ball. He gives you defense and offense. So that's what they needed. And Wiggins wasn't bad. I'm going to say Wiggins was not bad. He was okay.
He wasn't. But he's not.
He was okay. But he's not Jimmy Butler. You ain't got that dog in him like that.
No.
I like how Wiggins grew as a man in this game and over the years.
Game. Oh yeah.
I love how he grew.
When he was with Minnesota, I was kind of like, man, this. I had
high hopes and
high hopes for him, man.
Yeah.
But yes, he has grown, but. No, Jimmy's just that dude. But another thing with Jimmy, like you said, he plays both sides of the ball. And Draymond is a good defender, but I think what happens is Jimmy can take away somebody, and because Golden State, we've questioned what they are defensively. Mm-hmm. But I think because you're only other dog was Draymond, right, on the defensive end. So I think what you having Jimmy and Draymond on that defensive end, that coming together,
yeah,
that makes them so much better on the defensive end of the ball.
they're gonna be a lot better because Jimmy Butler, and you also still got people like Gary Payton Jr. who could play good defense.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then you give him another person that's out there that's gonna be, and you can always just move them out. Like when Curry needs a rest, here you go. Jimmy Butler's coming with a different type of game you got to play against. He's gonna pound it. He's gonna play defense.
Yeah.
Masking, being able to switch, doing all these things is what Jimmy Butler can do. He can switch off. You know, you could play a lot of different defenses with a Jimmy Butler. You know, and it's just that dog mentality that he got, and it's been working. I like it. I like
it too. The San Antonio trade getting Fox,
it's looking pretty good too.
As well.
It's looking pretty good too.
Yeah.
So these trades have kind of worked out so far, except for Dallas. Dallas didn't work out because AD got injured.
But that first,
it worked out because while he was on the court, I ain't never seen him look so happy, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, he was balling.
He looked happy right there. He was smiling, cheesing.
Yeah.
I ain't seen that AD in a long time. You see a couple in the Lakers time, but he you know what I'm saying? Didn't seem like he had that same little energy with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of like when he was with the Lakers, he almost seemed like he was just going through the motions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he was there that first little game. All that energy that he was doing. He was doing that in LA, but it's a different vibe you caught from that. It was just like he looked like he's enjoying himself again. Yeah. But he gets to play his natural position while he's in
that's
Dallas.
The thing. And that's what he wanted. He has some bigs to play with. And that's exactly what he wanted, right? Yeah. He wanted a big, so that he could play his natural position. So I do think
I hate that he got injured though.
I do too, because he did look comfortable. He looked way more comfortable. And he came out solid early.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. When I looked at it, the offense seemed to flow a little bit better. That's just me personally. It looks a little bit because you are able to space, like Klay Thompson was able to get more of his shot off.
That's true.
Things like that. Their offense flows a little bit better. Not to say that they were bad ever with Luka or anything like that, because it was still exciting, but it's just the fits are different. When you are fitting different things, like when you're like, it gets people being able to play more of their natural positions. Kyrie Irving being able to play more of the natural point guard, even though he's a kind of like a tweener anyway. Right. But he looked like, that lob that he threw was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It looked like, hey, we just vibing out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can do what I can do my point guard things and get off. Right. You know what I'm saying? The other thing is, it wasn't a lot of, and this is my only knock on Luka. He has an ability to hold the ball too long. Yeah. That's my only problem with Luka. Not saying that it's actually a problem, because he can make up for holding the ball too damn long now. He, right. You know what I'm saying? He could take up 23 seconds on the shot clock and still score. Right. But it makes your offense a little stagnant. You play a lot of one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it just seemed a little bit more free-flowing when you do have it to where you got bigs that you know is going to go after it. His defense was like on point, like it always has been.
Right.
And they was running away with that game until he went down.
Yeah,
that was like a 20-something point game against a hungry Houston team. Houston is no slouch.
Houston's no slouch, defensively and offensively. Yeah, they've looked really good. They're the number 2 seed in the West, or 3 seed.
I think it's 2 or 3.
Yeah, because it's OKC, Memphis.
And I think it's Houston, and then it might be Denver and LA, or something like that. I think it's something like. Matter of fact, we can double check real quick.
Yeah, let's look.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But that's not. I like what it. Like, I like what Houston is doing. Them boys is balling, bro.
Western Conference standings. Okay, Western Conference. You got OKC, the Thunder, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Lakers, Rockets.
Yeah, they all. Yeah.
Yeah, they all right there. Yeah.
Who would have thought Houston would have been like this?
I know it. and they're all. The crazy thing is like it's pretty tight. Like Thunder are not. They're up pretty good. They're 8 games ahead, but like the Grizzly, Nuggets, Lakers, and Rockets.
They all separated by like 1 game, ain't it?
Yeah,
to 1 or 2 games.
1 or 2 games, and that's it, man. I think that the Warriors are gonna make a run after this break, and I don't know, man. What are the Suns? Can the Suns make a run as well? We'll see.
We'll see. They're so disappointing, bro. I think that's one of the most disappointing teams I've seen. I'm not surprised that they're struggling, though, because they don't have a team. They have 3 people. Technically, really, they only have 2 people because Beal is kind of a shell of himself.
Yeah, exactly. You know what's surprising is the Pistons being 6th seed in the Eastern Conference.
Is it really surprising?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I know it's the Eastern Conference, but would you have thought that the Pistons would be... Going into this season, did you think that the Pistons would be ahead of the Heat, Hawks, 76ers?
Definitely not the 76ers.
Right. 76ers are in the 11th spot in the East.
But the reason why the 7, we already know why they like that.
They've
been playing without Embiid all year long.
And Embiid's probably finna be out the rest of the year.
Yeah. So and that Paul George move was
not. I mean,
it's not working out.
It's
right
not
there.
working.
Yeah.
Right.
I really wouldn't say I expected them to be a 6 seed. Could I see them being a play-in team? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they really they got a young team. They're young. They play hard ball. Yeah. Beasley is on another level now because he is killing at 3-pointers. I don't know what. How is he not in the 3-point contest?
I don't know. But
they put Cade Cunningham on the same team as Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley leads the league in 3-point shooting percentage. I watched him the other day, bro. Just hit like 4 threes back to back.
Yeah, he's solid. He's solid behind that line, behind that arc. Yeah,
it's crazy, bro.
Well, the Pistons,
I would tell you the team that I'm kind of getting shocked by, though, in the East, the Magic. I thought they would be a little bit better.
I thought they would be better too. Yeah, I definitely thought they would be better too because they're currently the ninth spot. But we have after the All-Star break. There's a couple teams that'll make that run. So maybe they're one of them. We'll see what they do. I'm excited. Football's over. We got basketball. So
it's about to be March Madness.
Yeah, March Madness is coming.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So we're gonna be on that basketball hard. So
might have to try to get it. I might have to try to get into. I'm probably gonna try my best to do a little bit more following baseball this coming year. Yeah, spring. Just so we can, so we can kind of have more, expound on more because I know we just mostly talk football and basketball. But, I'm not a. It's like I said, it's not that I ain't a baseball person. Like I like baseball. It's a cool sport.
Yeah.
I just don't follow it like I used to.
Like that. Yeah.
But I might need to get back in there and look. Just start paying attention more to baseball, so we can give a little bit more to talk about on that end.
Yeah, baseball, definitely. No doubt.
I just can't get into hockey like that to really speak on it.
Yeah, I be on my hockey. I wish my Blues would get it together defensively. Like we'll win a big game, and then it'd be like 3 in a row we lose by like 1 point. My Blues been looking trash, but I follow the Texas Stars. The Dallas the Dallas is little. Their minor league or whatever I forget what they call it, but I follow them. Stranges, that's my guy with the Texas Stars. Actually, I'm going to another Texas Stars game March 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go check them out again this season. But
that's what's up.
But yeah, baseball spring's coming up, man. Yeah, we'll get into that too. So
I'll start doing my little following of baseball. I fell off of them for some years now. Yeah, I used to be more into knowing things about baseball than I am now. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely try to get my game back up, man, just so we can
Yeah.
have some more things to talk about there. But yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, as always, I appreciate you on this Tuesday.
And real
And
quick,
what's up?
I'm gonna give y'all must have forgot.
Oh,
And he's a pretty
please
he's a
do.
pretty well known player, but I think people have forgot about him over the years. Stephon Marbury,
Oh, that's a good one.
bro.
That's a good
Stephon
one.
Marbury.
Yes. Yes.
If y'all didn't watch him,
You missed out.
You missed out on a heck of a player, boy.
Oh man, Stephon Marbury, bro. Yo, you missed out.
Sick. He was sick. Yes.
Yes.
I was
definitely.
watching some I was watching just a video the other day and he was talking about Stephon Marbury and I was like, bro, people don't know the damage that he used to do in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ooh boy, and if Stephon and Kevin Garnett would have stayed in Minnesota.
If they stayed in Minnesota. Man, if they stayed
I
in Minnesota.
I ain't even mad at Stephon Marbury though, because he said it was too cold. That's why he didn't stay.
Yeah, he was real about it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what he said.
You know what I'm saying? It's too cold. It's funny because he played in New York, but
New York, yeah.
You know, it's still, this sometimes it's a different level of cold. New York's cold, but then you talk about Minnesota, them muds is cold all the time too, and
yeah.
He said it was too cold, man. And it wasn't nothing against Kevin Garnett, nothing like that. Them boys is tight, but if they stayed together, Minnesota, boy.
Yeah.
They would have been hell.
Yeah.
Hell.
Because we saw what Minnesota was with Kevin Garnett by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was searching for a second person.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that was a good one, Stephon Marbury. Yeah, that's a good one.
Check him out.
Go back, go on YouTube, watch his highlights. Watch, he has a documentary. I think it's still on Netflix or Hulu.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, but check him out, Stephon Marbury. Definitely a great, y'all must have forgot. As always, thanks for joining us. And we will see y'all next week.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, peace out.